Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank. Hello and thank you for tuning in to Africa Investor Today with me, Avon. We begin the bulletin with politics and economy. Foreign businesses are holding back investment in Zimbabwe because of a split in the southern African country's power-sharing government. It appears that over the past 8 months, several potential investors had made inquiries regarding state-owned businesses, but now they are reluctant. And in other news, with weeks remaining before Namibians cast their votes late in November 2009, various political parties participating in the poll have upped their stakes, energetically campaigning across the vast but sparsely populated country. Leading the pack in terms of both resources and financial muscle is the ruling SWAPO party, which has deployed what is seen as a formidable team that campaigns across the country, disseminating messages to the electorate from a colorful 41-page political manifesto. The RDP party, which is widely seen as a dark horse in the crowded political race with a record 14 contesting parties, said if elected into power, it will strive to create a conducive environment for investment, while at the same time reforming the updating of the Investment Act that it said has become outdated, resulting in a stagnant economy. And that's all for politics and economy news. Stay tuned after the break for banking and finance.
Redefining energy means redefining life. At the Petroleum, Oil and Gas Corporation of South Africa, our commitment to greater innovation and greener fuels has made us pioneers in the field of gas-to-liquids technology. It has also earned us worldwide recognition for producing the cleanest fuels through environmentally friendly processes. That's how we've become the international leader in diesel technology. Through pure innovation, pure energy, pure brilliance.
In banking and finance news, D-Day news for Zimbabwean banks. Before the end of today, banks, building societies, merchant banks and other finance houses will know whether they will continue in operation or not. This is based on the institution's capability to meet the new capital requirements. All commercial banks were expected to have satisfied the new crawling $10 million minimum capital threshold. But judging by the June 2006 figures, most commercial banks reported healthy profit margins and had already surpassed the mandatory capital adequacy levels. And Nigeria's Zenith Bank said fourth quarter to September profits were dented by loan loss provisions following an industry-wide audit. The bank said on Wednesday that pre-tax profit rose 5% to 47 billion naira. It made 26.14 billion of provisions for loan losses and saw after-tax profits slip to 16.39 billion naira from 35.01 billion. Gross earnings rose 19.42% to 166.63 billion naira. And Mauritius will host the 14th meeting of the Committee of Governors of the Central Banks of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, on the 29th and 30th of October. The governors will be discussing the world financial crisis and its repercussions on the economies of their respective countries. This is Africa Investor Today. Stay with us after this break.
Afrexim Bank is Africa's leading trade finance bank, an organization dedicated to promoting African trade through credit, risk-bearing and advisory services. We pride ourselves on having local presence throughout the continent and are committed to extending our award-winning trade and project finance programs to unlock private sector development continent-wide. We invite you to become a part of our vision for a strong Africa in a changing world. If you trade within Africa, contact us to support you.
Companies and markets news. 3 South African companies scooped awards at the 3rd Africa SMME Awards organized by Africa Growth Institute last week. However, the top honors for a small business in Africa went to Holland Car of Ethiopia. Mpilende Foods, Kanyisile Training and Scala Pharmacy were the local firms that were best in the new business, service sector and trading sector categories respectively. There were a record number of entries in this year's competition, which had 130 companies participating. Of these, 60% were from other parts of the continent, while the balance was from South Africa. And Zambia has 8 suitors remaining in the hunt to buy Zamtel, Zambia's fixed-line telephone operator. The Zambian government is offering between 51 and 75% of its stake in Zamtel to suitors based on their own evaluation of the business and the market opportunity. The Zambian Development Agency, which is handling the sale, had received expression of interest from more than 30 suitors. We're going to take one more break before we bring you more news. Stay with us.
Africa Investor, the leading African investment magazine, is essential reading for investors in Africa, filled with the very latest in Pan-African investment and finance news. In addition, log on to africa-investor.com to find out more about our exciting capital market infrastructure and tourism events, and our long-standing investable Africa Investor 100 Index series, which tracks over $600 billion of African equities. Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
And in infrastructure news now, MTN Rwanda, the country's first and largest mobile operator by market share, expects to hit 2 million customers by the end of the year. According to Yvonne Makoro, senior marketing executive of the company is optimistic that it would achieve this by providing good quality services to its clients. And in other news, Deputy U.S. Treasury Secretary Neil Wolin, the number 2 official in the Treasury Department, will travel to Africa next week to discuss strategies to reduce poverty and boost African economic growth. Wolin will visit Rwanda, Tanzania and South Africa from October the 28th till November the 5th, marking this the first visit to Africa by a senior U.S. Treasury official since the Obama administration took office in January. More details regarding Wolin's public schedule in Africa will be made available in the next few days. And Anglo American, the 373 billion rand mining giant that recently survived a merger attempt by rival Xstrata, is slashing layers of management in a bid to drive costs down and streamline the business. It has also set out plans to divest from assets deemed non-core. Anglo argues these changes were already in the works ahead of the June approach by Xstrata for a nil premium merger and ahead of the arrival of their new chairman, John Parker. And with that news, we wrap up today's bulletin. Do remember you can log on to www.africa-investor.com for more news. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.